that we're going to look at the facts. We're going to investigate that and look at the evidence that's presented and give it to the grand jury.
What is the message to the family right now? I mean, obviously this is a big deal today. Is it sit and wait longer?
Well, this is a procedure that takes time. We want the truth. I'm sure they want the truth, and we want all the facts out there. And in addition, everyone wants to profit from this situation, that this does not happen again.
Let me take the family. This is, this is a great tragedy for them. When I took on this job to do this investigation, our team began the investigation, I told them, leave no stone unturned. I don't care how many men and women we have to put on this. I don't care how long it takes. We want to get it done quick, but we want to do it right. And what the family deserves, what the public deserves, what this community deserves is the truth. And that, I think, is what, to the best of our ability, we have given them with this report. That was our mission. And I cannot, say enough about the people who did this. Mark and Dennis and the whole team. They did a phenomenal job. And when you'll have this available, the media, you'll have this available to pull down from our webpage. You'll have all this available, and you'll see how many interviews there were, and you'll see the detail. Is it possible we missed something? Sure. No investigation is perfect, but in about 60-some days, we've, I think, got as close as we're ever going to get to what the truth is. There's some things we're not going to know. The two individuals who were killed, we don't have them to talk to, so we don't have that. But we have about everything else, and that's what we owe, I think, the families. That's what we owe the public. Anybody else?
Not to be simplistic, but criteria for legitimate or not legitimate shootings basically is whether the officer believed they were in fear for their life or other people were at risk. The Attorney General has statements there from every single officer who was involved in fire events. It seemed to indicate that was the case. Do you have any preliminary conclusions about the criminality here or not?
No, I do not. We're going to keep an open mind, and we're going to present all the facts to the grand jury, and ultimately they're going to make the decision.
Who else? Question? You had a question over here. I didn't answer your question. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I was asking about whether you think, because of the scope of the policy issues that you pointed out, whether it's something that the city of Cleveland is going to be able to tackle and rectify on its own. You mentioned many policy problems.
Well, I think they have already reached out to others. I'm a great believer in my own office in reaching out to experts, whether they're in Ohio or wherever they are. I think what we all want for our local police department is best practices. And so I'm sure they're going to reach out. They've already reached out. And that's, you have to take the national best practices, and then you have to adapt them to the unique circumstances that you might have in Cleveland. But they're going to do that. They've already started to do that. And it's the right thing to do. And I know the mayor is very, very committed to that. You and then you.
I'm kind of curious.
No, you go low, high.
Low, high?
Low, high.
I'm just kind of curious in your role as the Attorney General. I mean, so you've completed your portion.
Yes.
You're not making any recommendations to the prosecutor. But as the Attorney General, you've said the system failed, violations all over the place, a lack of command, a lack of control. Typically, someone should pay a price for this in an organization. I mean, if it were a business, the CEO would probably be fired. Should the police chief of the Cleveland Police Department lose his job?
Well, I'm not going to say that. Look, that's not my job to make determinations like that. My job is to present what the facts are. And I think what should assure everyone is that there's no hiding of these facts. These facts are now out for the community. Everybody can see these facts. And my experience in doing this for government for over 30 years, if you get all the facts out, the right result is going to come. We've got a mayor who understands it, who is committed to making this the best police department that he can make it. And a safety director has that same commitment. I have every confidence that armed with this, they will do the things that need to be done.
In your investigation, did you look at other incidents? Were there other incidents similar to this where there was a breakdown in the system? Is that something that you looked at, or will that be something that you...
No, I'm sorry, I missed the first part. I'm sorry.
In your investigation, did you look at, were there other incidents that were brought up? Like, did this kind of a breakdown...
No, that was, we did not look at that. I mean, no, we focused on this, and I think when my experience is that when you go through something like this, there's always things you learn. I think there's a lot of things to learn here that'll be very, very, very helpful. But we did not go beyond the scope of our assignment. Our assignment was what happened that night. And we if there's anything that led up to that night, we looked at that. I mean, we went back and we looked at mental health records. One of the decedents, we looked at everything we could find out about them. We looked at everything we'd find out about the police officers. But it was all focused really at trying to understand what happened that night better. So, who else?
And Mike, we will look at all the facts and prepare it. This is going to take some time to review this. We're going to, and as the Attorney General said, I've never seen an investigation, no matter how thorough, where additional factors need to be looked at, or additional experts need to be employed. I'm not putting a time limit on it, except to say it's going to be ready as soon as possible and be taken to the grand jury when it's ready to go.
You know, the Cleveland police, by and large, do not have the technology of camcorders in their car. We know some officers do purchase their own. Were there any videos available that depicted any of the shots fired or the shooting at all?
Well, Mark.
And how helpful would it have been if, in fact, they did have that technology?
Mark Kohler is special agent, was in charge of this investigation, has done an absolutely phenomenal job. I'm going to let him answer that question.
There was only one dash cam video that we received from a Cleveland police vehicle. That particular dash cam was involved in a portion of the pursuit, but did not get into East Cleveland and was not present at the end events. That dash cam video was reviewed in full, as well as the automated vehicle locator data from that vehicle, and that vehicle had turned off and returned back to Cleveland while on I-90. The one dash cam video that we did have that caught the audio was from a Bracknell police vehicle. The positioning of the vehicle at the scene did not give us a view of the actual shooting incident, although it did catch the audio of those final shots.
Had all cars been equipped with that technology, how beneficial would that have been, or how helpful would that have been?
You can take it or I can.
It certainly would be helpful to have any sort of an incident such as this actually caught on videotape. It would make our jobs easier.
It's always easier. It wouldn't have changed anything that happened that night. But it would, it's always, information is good. I mean, we live in a world, it's amazing. What amazed me, frankly, is how we were able to pull out all the surveillance cameras and see many times what was going on. It's phenomenal how many surveillance cameras there were along that route. I mean, it's just stunning. Who else? Anybody else?
Prosecutor McGinty, I know that you said that you're going to take this case to the grand jury, but clearly you're not going to just take all those notebooks and hand them to the grand jury and have them read through it. Your prosecutors are going to have to present them with
Yes.
charges that they believe, the grand jury should look at. And I'm wondering if you have any thought after listening to the Attorney General and looking through some of the report, whether you would think that they would focus on some of the officers' actions that night or really focus more on some of the supervisors' actions or inactions in terms of what they did, or did they do their due diligence and their duty that night?
We're going to carefully review the facts, the evidence presented, and present it to the grand jury, and that's at the point where we'll be reviewing charges. Okay.
Who else? Anybody else? I know TV's got new news to deal with, but sorry for the timing here, guys.
It wasn't that long ago, about a decade ago, that the Justice Department worked with the Cleveland Police to amend some of their pursuit use of force policies. And I believe one of the recommendations was even improved training for nighttime incidents. I mean, is it surprising to you at all that the system should fail again so soon after all this energy that we're putting into fixing things?
I wasn't the Attorney General then, as I recall. If I was somewhere else and worrying about things in Washington. So I don't have that historical background. You know, the information is here. I think what this department clearly is going to do, what the mayor is going to do, is reach out to anybody else who is helpful. You know, you do get an issue of training. We did not look at the training in depth. It's always an issue for any police department. What's the appropriate training? How much is enough? And where do you put the training? I mean, these are all decisions that, you know, have to be made. I would assume that this report will inform some future decisions about training. Again, what gets back to what I said during my presentation, you have to have the training and you have to have the command control so that understandably subjective decisions that are made don't control, that they're overridden by the system itself coming in and taking over. And that's what didn't happen. That's what didn't happen here, and training is certainly a part of that. Who else? Anybody else?
Are there any other suggestions that you make in the report, or any suggestions, I would say, to address that systematic failure?
In 50 minutes, you had my best shot. You got the highlights. The rest of the report is frankly, you may pick a few out, but we've pretty much given it to you this morning. Again, this is a process. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of laying out these facts for the public and for the police department, and then the community can talk about it and what else needs to be done. I'm sorry. Well, sure. I mean, I was surprised. I mean, when we went into it, I didn't know what we were going to find. And I knew it was a tragedy, but I had no idea what we would find. No. Anybody else?
One more question about the pursuit policy. There's a phrase in there about unusual circumstances. How much of a factor is that? That, you know, obviously there's one or two cars.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not. If you read that report, and you have a copy, and we'll get a copy, you will see we did not get into that decision. But what we got into is the fact that that decision wasn't made. The process didn't take place. No one really made other than the officers who were doing it, there was no control of what was going on about that pursuit. Except the one officer who thought there was 3 cars in it. So there's just a total lack of control and total lack of decision-making process. When you have a pursuit, you know, just because you start it doesn't mean you finish it. I mean, there's decisions that police departments make all the way through a pursuit. So I'm not second-guessing that they had a pursuit, but we are saying they should have, the system broke down because decisions weren't made at various points about what you do. Who else? Anybody? We exhausted you all. Thank you all very much.